Today I'm going to cover multicolored yarns and what to expect from them. What's nice about multicolored yarns is that they've already chosen the colors that are going to work together and you don't have to worry about it. In these two examples is the first type of multicolored, and that's striping. This one, it's pretty obvious looking at the skein, but you can also see on the label they'll put a very tiny picture of it and show you that it's going to come into stripes. This one is not so easy to see when you're looking at a skein, but they have put it on a picture. The next type is self-patterning yarns, where it makes a pattern like Fair Isle where you don't have to change colors. You're using one skein of yarn and it's doing all the work for you. And the third kind is going to be variegated. And this is where it gets a little tricky. So a good idea is to knit up a little swatch to try and get a feel for it. How many stitches you have on the needle and how long the repeats are, the color repeats. Like in this example, it's very short, about 3 or 4 inches. You can see it changes color. Okay. While in other yarns, those repeats may be quite long. Here is a cotton yarn, and we're in a red, and you can see we still stay in a red, and we're finally changing to a rose pinky color. Okay. Okay. So how are these going to look? I'm going to show you an example of what it looks like and what we expect, that it stays variegated and it doesn't do anything else. Here's the black, gray, and white yarn that's knitted up, and you can see that it stays pretty consistently variegated. All right, nothing wild happens. Now I'm going to give you an example of this yarn, which is the cotton that had the longer lengths. As you can see from this section here, the colors change frequently. What you tend to find to happen with some yarns is, notice here these color changes are now pooling up or puddling. It's called pooling, all right? And if you're looking for, and yet on this side here, it's going back to more variegated. If you're looking for consistency and you start seeing something like this happen, you're not going to be a happy knitter. In fact, these are just minor examples of what could happen. One of these pool colors could be this big, okay? So it's a surprise, and if you're not expecting it or you don't want it on your project, you need to figure out some way to deal with it. The first is to just go ahead and accept its wabi-sabiness and enjoy it. If you're not that type of person, there are ways to get around it. There are actually patterns that are written specifically for variegated yarns. Another way to deal with it is when you are knitting to use 2 different skeins and knit 2 rows with this skein, okay? And when you come back to the side, you'll have this yarn tied on or carrying up, and you will knit 2 rows with this. When in fact, that makes sure that neither skein gets a chance to pool because it's only running for 2 rows. Another trick is to add another color. In this case, you could make it, you can separate or use this only as an accent, but you don't, again, you don't give it a chance if it's the type that's going to pool. You don't give it a chance to do that. I've done it here, but you can easily see. Okay, so here's the variegated, and I've broken it up with small bands of solid color. Alternately, you could do a larger band of solid and just put in a small bands of the variegated, and variegated will never miss up with that small amount of space. And that's it. I hope that helps you with your decision making.